In any given situation where you are in a company, it's either you are an asset or you are a liability.
Yes.
That's it's hard.
Yeah, it is.
Millycent, what do you have to say?
So I really do support the value add, because if you are not adding value, why are they paying you?
Yeah.
Yes.
But at the same time, you also need to be very personal and understanding your potential.
Yeah.
Because you can't add value if you don't understand your potential.
So I went to a boarding school during my high school, and my father used to come and help me pack, and he used to teach me how to pack my stuff, make sure it fits in one suitcase so that I don't take two suitcases. What he was teaching there, he was teaching me diligence. Okay, where some of the, let's say a shirt, you'd fold it, put it inside the shoe, because if you put shoes in, they've got space inside. So there you can put in even lotions. He was teaching me that because he was taught by his father how to pack a suitcase. So that's where the diligence started. Okay, when I was going to boarding school, he was telling me, this is how you need to make your bed so that you make your bed faster. Because in boarding school, it's time. Everything is timed. At home, you can take your time. And he taught me how to make a bed. So the diligence starts from there, how you make your bed.
Almost made to be an audit clerk,
Yeah.
because they could not believe that I can go and sit in the boardroom. I was shy.
Yeah.
I was not showing that I know these things. So, but from that, I had to work myself out to say, in this profession, yes, you are introvert and you are from the village. Maybe you have an accent. You have English problems. Face it, in this profession, people who become successful is the people who talk, who communicate in the meetings, who actually show, yes, I've passed. My university says I know what I'm doing, but I'm not showing it the other side. So it means you need to get there and say, what is it that I know? Okay, thank you so much. Welcome to Numbers Don't Lie. We are really talking a story about numbers, and in reality, numbers are everywhere. So we have all the stories in the world. That's really exciting. But today I'm excited because I have a guest host, so I want to do a lot of questions. He is going to be questioning myself and also Mr. Kada. So welcome, Macduke, and you can take over from here.
Oh, thank you so much. It doesn't feel all new because the first episode, if you remember, we did the first episode. So thank you so much. And we are in episode number 6, right?
Not 5.
6.
Okay, I think it is
so
6.
It has indeed been a wonderful journey. So welcome to Numbers Don't Lie. Guys, we do know that you cannot argue with the facts. You cannot argue with the truth. Success is scientific. If you follow the science, you get the results. So today we are going to talk about the science behind professionalism, the science behind business, and also the science behind growing as an individual. Today I am going to be your main host. It's also exciting because our 2 guests are also residents. Kada, we just had your podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. Before we start, maybe have you seen the podcast, the last episode where we featured you?
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
And what were your highlights?
I think I'll tell you the highlights that came from those that have seen it.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that they spoke about is when I spoke about the struggles of being a firstborn. I never thought about that it would touch and resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it also shows that there's a lot of struggles that firstborns go through to achieve success. And that was, and then the second thing that also came through was that, you know, some of my friends said they don't know me well. Yeah. They only knew me well when I spoke on that podcast. And these are people that I've known for 21 years.
Sure.
And they said, some of the things you spoke on the podcast, we didn't know about you. So you can see that I think we don't have real conversations with people that we've known for a long time. So those are the 2 things that have come out of that podcast.
Wow, no, that was indeed an amazing.
Is it not the fact that we separate work and our personal life? So then we don't marry the 2. Then people, as much as they know I'm an accountant at home, but they don't really understand what I wake up to go to work for.
Yes.
And in that podcast, we summarized that while we also brought the personal side of it, and then it
Yes.
married the two.
Yeah. Because the other thing that captured is people didn't know the origin of my name. Yes. And it's a story that is known by a few people in my family as well.
Yeah.
Because I was taught by my grandfather. And it's my father who knows it. And the other people who know it are late. Yeah. So that was also captivating to say, oh, 'cause this name has got a meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was indeed a wonderful conversation. So, Millycent, I've got an icebreaker for you now.
Okay.
I'm just going to put you under the bus.
You are.
So, if there was a billboard that everybody could see, but I think I've asked you that, ne? Have I?
I
The first
don't
episode?
remember.
Okay. If there was a billboard that everybody could see, doesn't matter where in the world, everybody could see that billboard. And it had big, bold words that everybody could read, whether you are in Asia, whether you are in Africa, Australia, everybody can see it. And it had one thing to say about you. What would that billboard say?
It will be multiply.
the
multiplication sign, because I love multiplying myself.
Yes,
Wherever I am, I want to multiply myself. I want to empower. It's just in me. So yeah, it will really be. And I'm glad it's a number as well. Multiplication is like
number,
a part of an equation.
Yeah.
That will be.
Yes. So today we're going to speak about the most important number, which is number 1. No matter how fast a car can be, you can't kickstart a car without gear 1. As a matter of fact, the most important gear in a car is gear 1 because it kickstarts the car. You can't start at gear 5, you can't start at gear 6, gear 1.
Yes.
So today we are going to talk about the power of what, the top 1%, especially when you are a professional.
Yes.
We're also going to mix it up with a bit of branding, talking about LinkedIn because it's now starting to be a superpower. But now let's talk about the top 1% and the value of being indispensable in the marketplace. Because when you think about the marketplace and the job market, for somebody who is looking for a job, they are not looking for a job on their own. There's actually somebody else who's looking for the same job. So technically, it's player versus player.
Yes.
And then how are you going to differentiate yourself to be the one? I mean, if there are 3 people in the room, we have to teach ourselves that if there are 3 people in the room, I have to be the 4th one who's successful. There are 2 people in the room, I have to teach myself to be the 3rd person. And if there's only going to be the only 1 person in the room, then I have to be that one person who's going to be successful.
Yes.
So today we are going to talk about that professional top 1%, the people that are indispensable, how to build an indispensable career, not just work for the sake of working or work because you want a salary, but work to actually give value.
Yes.
Nobody goes to Google and see and researches about in a beauty contest and research about who won the 4th, or in an Olympic and then research about who was in 5th place. We always want to know that one person. So, Kada, let me start with you.
Yes.
You are top 1% in what you do,
yes,
right? And you've gathered so much experience, so much value. So what would you say are the ingredients of the top 1% professional, whether you are in accounting but let's specifically focus on accounting.
Accounting. Okay. All right. So there's a great mentor of mine. When I started work, he said 2 things to me. He said, the first thing that you do in any job, is to solve the problems of your immediate supervisor or boss. So they must be able to sleep easy knowing that they have you in the organization, because they have 2 types of problems. Problems that are beyond your pay grade, but problems that you can help them solve. So if you can't take away this, they'll not be able to focus on their job. So that's the first thing that the person told me, is that when you go to work, you must ask yourself, how can I make my supervisor, my manager, my bosses work easier? I want them to go home and sleep easy. That's number 1 that he told me. So that means that you have to solve the problems of the organization. Number 2, he said, you must add value in any organization. And the thing he told me that an organization buys your time. They pay you a salary and they buy your time. Okay? So you must ask yourself every month, did I make enough money to cover my salary for this organization with what I do? If it's not, then you are a cost to the organization because you're not generating any value for the organization. And he said those are the people that, when the redundancies come, they're the first people to go because they say, what do they bring? You can't see what they bring. So for example, a simple example he told me the security guard at the gate. So if it's a company that manufactures something and people come and get stock from the warehouse, if he checks the stock, there's no losses, isn't it? The lack of those losses, that's the value he brings because he's checking that stock. That's the value he brings because that could be a loss to the company. If some stock goes out of that company, it's a loss. It means that the company has to recover it in some way. If there's no stock theft, that means that security guard is adding value. So you won't remove a security guard in that place because you can see what value they bring. Yeah. So those are the two things that he told me.
So as a matter of fact, in any given situation where you are in a company, it's either you are an asset or you are a liability.
Yes.
That's it's hard.
It is.
Millycent, what do you have to say?
So I really do support the value add because if you are not adding value, why are they paying you?
Yeah.
Yes.
But at the same time, you also need to be very personal and understanding your potential.
Yeah.
Because you can't add value if you don't understand your potential. And
Yes.
most of us, we got a job because we were looking for a job, right? We want
Yes.
to work, we
Yeah,
want
yeah.
money.
Want to
But
pay
at the end of
bills.
the day, you don't understand what does I bring to the table, if we were to say that.
Yeah.
And you need to then go back and believe in yourself that I am adding value here and this is the value I'm adding. And that means you need to be authentic to yourself. You need to be, because they're not paying you to be the other person. They're paying you to be you so that you can bring your own unique solutions.
Yes.
You can think. You don't have to say, I don't have an opinion here, but you should have an opinion. Because sometimes I ask my trainees or people I'm working with, what do you think? They say, no, I'm fine. No, you can't be fine. There's something in you that's not fine that we want to hear.
Yeah.
So you need to have self-advocacy.
Yeah.
And self-advocacy starts with knowing yourself. And a lot of people, if we were to ask you, beside work and anything, who are you? We don't have that answer because we don't really think of ourselves at the level of really, I'm here to add value. And when I am here, I must be felt. I can't sit in the corner. I can't join the gossip.
Yeah.
I need to be felt where it needs to be felt.
Yeah.
And most of people don't do that because the system of the world is mostly group.
Yeah.
Like we go to crash, we're group.
Yes.
We go to school, group, church, group. So most of the things is group work. Group work doesn't count in when you want to be top 1%. You need to like now say, this is me and I am playing to represent myself.
So
Yeah. There's a statement that you said, self-advocacy, and I'd like us to double click a bit on that. Because if you are used of being pushed or you've got a supervisor or an employer who constantly pushes you, they can never push you beyond your own greatness.
yes. Yeah.
There'll always be a limit where they can push you.
Yes. Yeah.
But you need that extra push that comes from yourself, which is the
Yeah.
self-advocacy to say, you know what,
Yeah.
as an accounting professional, as a professional of any type, for me to reach the next level, it's not up to my employer, it's not up to the company, it's actually up
Yes.
to me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So whether the job market goes up or it goes down,
Yes.
I know that I will push myself further so that I can be the one who's always chosen for opportunities.
Yes.
Like you said, when people become redundant and the company is facing a threat, they are always going for the weaker ones.
Yes. Yeah.
So self-advocacy, let's start it in the base of somebody who's sending a CV.
Yes.
Because some of the experiences that I think I've had with Millycent in the past is that people would submit their CVs. Out of 400 CVs, it's just one CV, different names.
Yeah.
My name is Kagiso. My name is Dlamini. I'm a problem solver. I have good communication. So it's like the CVs is just like one person just one CV different. It does not give value. You cannot buy the person, and you can almost tell from the CV that, okay, this person is going to give me problems. So before somebody even goes into the job market, before they submit a CV while they are studying, how important is self-advocacy?
Okay, I think it's an entry. Let's call it an entry level CV.
Yeah.
What would you want to highlight? I've listened to a lot of entrepreneurs or people who are in the 1%. They tell always a story. Okay. I mean, I was listening to Nteto Nyati this morning. He said he worked in a family business. Okay. That was like, he said that was not my first job, but my parents had a shop and a family. So we all come from backgrounds where we have experiences. If you're coming from university, you might have been a chairperson of a club. Okay, that's a leadership position. You can position yourself that I was a leader of this club, or I was in the student groups. Okay, I was elected there as a treasurer, and this is what I did. And maybe we raised this amount of money for this type of. So maybe they were needy students, and we went to corporates, and we were able to convince 5 corporates and raise money. Those are things that, when you're in university, you don't think that they have an impact, but they have an impact. What did you do? Or even if you say I was a top sportsman, I was given this award. Those are things you can highlight on the CV because they will differentiate you from somebody else who just says, I went to university, I got a BCom. Okay. Apart from the academic accolades, people forget that it's not the academic accolades that make you, it's also being an all-round person as well. So these are the things that I'm talking about. Okay, I played in the tennis team or the basketball college team. Okay, I was the captain. That's leadership, because if you're a captain of a basketball team, you are bringing people together towards a goal, and you had to manage people with different skills and make sure they gel as a team. Yeah, that's a skill that you could highlight in your CV. So most people think that entry-level CV, there's nothing you can say. If not, let's say your father's got a farm, and over the holidays you would spend time working on the farm. There's a lot of things you learn there on the farm. Okay, maybe you're managing stock. Well, maybe you were helping him sell the cattle, or you were helping them to manage so that they don't get disease. Anything that you were doing there, there's a learning. Internships are also learning processes. So I met a student who wanted to study the SSA qualification and got a BCom, but was working in Mr. Price that time. Came to the office and said, I can't get a job in accounting. I told them, yes, jobs are hard to come, but I said, you're forgetting something. You're working in a sales environment. There is no important skill in the workplace than knowing how to sell something. You manage customers, people who come angry, they're not happy. Sometimes you manage happy customers, but you also make sure that they come in the shop and they buy what they need to sell. They come to you with problems. Oh, I bought this, it's too small, can you exchange it? Okay, you say, oh, I haven't got the stock, maybe another shop, let me call another shop. That's problem solving because you want to satisfy. So those things you must, if you take them in context, they're the ones that differentiate you from somebody else.
True.
Yes. And then when they went back, they did their CV, they saw that now employers are looking at me differently. And they were able to get a traineeship because of that. Yeah.
So in essence, we might have a lack of jobs, but there's always work. Like you said, that the student could sell.
Yes, yeah. There's things that you do, but we don't think of them in the context of, I can use these skills that I'm gaining not in the environment that I'm in, because I want to be an accountant.
Yeah.
But I'm doing something that is not accounting, but the skills that I'm learning there, that will make me a very good accountant, can make me the 1%. Yeah.
True. And there's also, I think, one thing that we are facing, especially as the country, South Africa, and as the world at large, it's unemployment. But worse than unemployment is unemployability. You know, because the current professional, you know, they've been exposed to a lot, but they've never been exposed to tangible experience, or they are not self-advocate to a point where they say that I can actually excel, you know, from the doors of university. So here's another question, and I want to pose it to you, Millycent, about employability and unemployment and employability, because our government is doing so well in terms of giving us quality education. The quality of accounting in South Africa, it's almost unmatched. But it's up to the university to get you educated, but it's up to you to get employed, because you have to stand out. So what can you say about employability? I mean, like the basic skills of employability, because I think for me it also starts with attitude. It starts with respect. It starts with the ability to learn skills, just putting yourself out there. So for you, Millycent, what is employability to a professional, and why is it so important, especially in this day and time?
So that question, I always analyze it, because I hire people at one side, I hire people at the firm. So I'm always hiring. I sit as the hiring manager and the firing manager. I fire a lot, especially at one side. Purely because I think we have a problem that we take people to school, or we go to school. Let's just say that. But it's not, like you said, it's up to you to be employable, right?
Yes, yeah.
But it's up to you to be educated.
Yes, yeah.
So most of us, we don't understand that the education we get, it's not education. It's a qualification. You might flow through it and pass. But it's up to you to embrace it and say, I am educated, and this is what it means. And then you start representing yourself at the level of the education.
Yes.
Because sometimes we don't even understand there's NQF levels. Like there's no understanding of what it means to say you have a degree. Like what do we expect from a person with a degree? What do we expect? Like generally when they say you have NQF level 4, what does that mean? Can you comprehend those elements? And most of the people are not practically able to comprehend and use the education they get towards being employable and sustaining themselves in employment. So they have the certificate, but it's not translating. You're like, this person, what's wrong? Are they sure? Are they sure? Like, really? Are you sure? So we have that. So we need to really get to understand that it's a responsibility to get education and not just paper education. The qualification is one thing. But when I employ people at one side, thank God I look for the qualification, but I look beyond that. And that is what will make you be employable. And I might be wrong, and other people have their own understanding and their own opinion. But my opinion is that in South Africa, we don't have issue of employment, as in we don't have jobs. We have plenty of jobs. We just don't have the right skills to actually get those jobs. So, and in South Africa, honestly, I was looking at this country, you find everyone from the world. Why do you think Chinese are here?
Yes.
Do you think they're at China Mall there for what?
Play games.
They're not playing games.
Yes.
They are making money.
Yes.
And this money is from us.
Yes.
But we don't even question those things, like basic things of understanding that there is money in this country. So there's more that we need to understand mentally or comprehend and personalize that will make you employable. At the firm where I work, they're not employing me because I'm a CA and all these things. They want the value I add. And if I don't add that value, unfortunately, I either had to fire myself or I'll be fired somehow indirectly. And I support the firing because if you are not employable and you are not adding value, you are actually killing that business. And you are killing the business for other people who can come in and add value. So if a person is not adding value, if you are an employer, okay, please, the labor union must not listen to me. But if you're an employer, you should take that responsibility of firing that person before the business goes down and you all lose. But obviously, don't fire people. First train them and get them to the space. So in responding to a question is really the fact that we need to call it upon ourselves to be educated. And education is beyond the papers. Is really understanding that when they say I'm a salesperson, what do they really mean? And what does it take to be the greatest salesperson? It's not, yes, it's the employer to train you, but it's in you to want to be the best salesperson. You know? So it's not just coming to work and just looking busy and be there. It's like, are you the best in what you do? And if you're not the best, what can the employer help you with so that you become the best? We all need to aim to be the best.
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay, on that note, this podcast is proudly sponsored by 130 Brands. And 130 Brands, we are selling a whole range of products. If you want a piece of paradise in your home, what I can guarantee you or promise to you is that we can actually give you a piece of paradise, because we also have amazing fragrances. We have nice scents, like we have nice scented candles. We've got room diffusers. We also have those for curtains. What do they call it?
Linen sprays.
Linen fragrances. So our range, we have for bathing. Is it bath? We've got bath collection.
Yeah.
We've got your body washes. We've got your body creams. We've got roll-ons. But our main business activity, we started with perfumes. So if you want a perfume for yourself, especially as a professional, because you have to be smelling good, you have to be good. So this is the confidence that you need. So our episode is proudly sponsored by 130. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Now I've got one question to the viewer. The question is, if you were handed the formula for Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola has existed for more than 100 years. If you were handed the formula for Coca-Cola, the question that I want to ask you is that, would the formula still continue or would it die with you? So that's how you actually know that you are the 1%, because I want to bring it here. The Bible says that the hand of the diligent maketh rich. And we're not talking about rich money. It means that everything that you touch, it becomes excellent. It does not matter what task you are given at work. It does not matter whether you are cleaning at home. But if you have the skill of diligence, it means that everything that you touch becomes excellent. And I think one of the, as we are transitioning to skills development, one of the skills that we need to learn as professionals is diligent. Is that when you are given a task, you go above and beyond. I always tell my team that we always do more than we get paid for to make an investment for the future. Because if you are diligent, you are securing your future. If there's a next opportunity coming, they always think of you. Oh, this person has diligence. So now I want to talk about skills development, especially the skills of the skill of diligence. You know, being able to complete a task, being able to do it so beautifully that, you know, when they talk in boardrooms, when they talk in offices, to say, who shall we give this opportunity? And then they say, the first person is Millycent, or the first person is Kadammanja. So for a professional, especially if you want to be the top 1%, how can you hone diligence? Because when you are going there, Millycent spoke about groups. When you're going there, what you're actually doing is you're going for yourself. So it means that there needs to be a certain type of focus. You need to also disassociate from friends and all this office politics and all that. So for you, how has diligent, give me a personal experience where diligent has literally saved you, or where diligent has actually raised the bar for, you know, for you or for an organization, or there was a problem that you diligently solved that somebody who is starting or somebody who's looking at you could learn from.
All right. I'll start from a very practical example, then I'll give you a professional example. So I went to a boarding school during my high school, and my father used to come and help me pack. And he used to teach me how to pack my stuff, make sure it fits in one suitcase so that I don't take 2 suitcases. What he was teaching there, he was teaching me diligence. Where some of the, let's say a shirt, you'd fold it, put it inside the shoe, because if you put shoes in, they've got space inside. So there you can put in even lotions. He was teaching me that because he was taught by his father how to pack a suitcase. So that's where the diligence started. When I was going to boarding school, he was telling me, this is how you need to make your bed so that you make your bed faster. Because in boarding school, it's time. Everything is timed. At home, you can take your time. And he taught me how to make a bed. So the diligence starts from there, how you make your bed. There's even a book. They say that discipline starts from how you make your bed in the morning. And there's a study that has shown that if you don't make your bed in the morning, your whole day becomes. So it starts from small things like that. And then if I'm to go to the professional space, I've been very lucky in my profession. In 2 organizations that I worked for, we started an internal audit department from scratch. That required that we didn't have anyone to refer to. It was us who first, and they said, start a department and we want to see it function. So how do you start from a clean slate? You have to be diligent. Because if you find something somebody already done and then you fix it, it's like you're fixing somebody's problem. It's very easy. But if you have to create your own system, and then that system is going to fail at some point, you will have to fix it again. You have to think now. Diligence requires you that you make sure that everything that you put in place, you're not just thinking about today, but you're thinking about 10 years from now, 20 years from now, there's going to be somebody else running this department. How are they going to look at the people who started that department? So that's where I learned the art of diligence, because I was also coming from an external auditing, but external auditing is also about diligence, because you have to be attention to detail. Because you can't say to a client, you made this mistake and it's wrong, and you've already put it in a report. Okay. So, but starting from scratch, that's when I learned, because I worked for organizations that already had systems. Now the first day they give you a laptop. There is nothing in the laptop. They say you need to develop audit procedures. So we had to start from developing audit procedures for 6 group companies that were different. There was a bank, there was a life insurance company, there was a short-term insurance company, there was a technology company, there was a head office that owned it, so it owned all these group companies as well. Okay, and there was a property division. So now what it meant is we had to study each business and say, where is the risk going to happen? We had to talk to the people that do the job as well and listen to where they see the risk and how they would like us to help. So that gets you to say, you know what, you can't just develop a system from scratch. A system requires diligence. And that's where I learned diligence. Because when I went into my second job, it was a donor organization, and it was giving funds to what we call community-based organizations. A lot of money. And these organizations didn't have systems. And the blame was always, there was always investigations. Money has gone missing, money has gone missing, money has gone missing. When I joined, I said, no, the problem is not that they don't have systems. The problem is us. We don't assess and get the right partners. So let's start from us, okay? Then we can fix the problems of others. You can't go and fix the problem, because even if we tell them, okay, have a board, have these finance policies and procedures, there's still a problem. There's still human beings there who will not look after these funds or do what needs to be done. So I said, we need to start from us as well, because we are the custodians of this money. So we need to develop. So we developed a partnership framework, and fraud fell 75% after that partnership framework, because it was very stringent. We were giving money to the right people. And it also made it easier for me as internal audit, because I was not investigating. Now I was even starting to do a lot of work with the organization itself, rather than going and investigating money that had been. So that's the other part of it, is that you look at an issue and you think to yourself, I can rush in and go and do investigations and issue reports, but where's the problem? Okay, so you quieten yourself. And the others can't see it because that's how they've been doing it. And then you say, no, but the problem starts with where we are. Because when you go to a bank assesses your credit, isn't it? Before they give money. They can't start blaming you when you can't pay the money. Yes.
I like when you say that before the work, it also starts with you. Because I can also imagine starting a division from the scratch. It means that you are under-resourced. So if you are under-resourced, it means that you have to be resourceful. Like I said, you have to really ask where the problem is, not just try to fix anybody's problem. You have to really think and ask where the problem is. So that was just a beautiful statement.
Maybe just to come in, I think diligence for me, it has to be married with patience as well. Because sometimes we want to cut the corners.
Yep.
We want to do things fast. We want to get the next, like you want to finish this thing, but step by step by step. There's a process to doing something. And if you want to cut the process, you're going to deliver results that are not going to be diligently excellent.
Yes.
Because I can see, even with the work we do a lot of reports, we write a lot of Word documents. You can see from someone that this person was not there. By looking at that report, is not structured. Like this person, it doesn't flow, like basic things. So sometimes it's even the smallest little thing that if it's not there, the whole thing is not going to even add value. We're not going to even see the value of the other big thing. So the smallest little thing, how you put it, makes a huge difference. So attaching excellence to your work and patience is a diligent person. Because you need to think, when you click that email sent, are you happy with what you said? You know, I struggle with clicking send because I want to, maybe there's a bit of perfectionism in me, but really, like, this thing must flow, this thing must say something, you know? So those things, but we are lucky we are in a profession that really pushes us to be diligent. Maybe there's a reason we are even wearing glasses and you are not. we really sit with the numbers and the documents. But it really is, even in our personal space, we need to apply that sense of patience and that sense of excellence and pride on your work.
I also like what Kara say and what you said, that it starts with the smallest things. Like making your bed. I was listening to a TikTok video by Jordan Peterson. He was talking about when people have hit rock bottom and he has to consult with them. And then he says that the first thing that he advises them to do is to fix their bed. He says that he found that that's the most powerful recovery mechanism for anybody who has reached rock bottom, because when you wake up in the morning and then you fix your bed, doesn't matter if the house is a mess, but you've started with something small. So that was such a powerful example. Now, I wanted us to talk about communicating our value as professionals. Because it's not like 20 years and 30 years ago, or you could just put up a CV and then they'll call you. It means that now you have to do the legwork. You have to communicate your value. You have to have a LinkedIn account. You know, you have to be a thought leader. And I want to relate it to LinkedIn, especially because it's a platform for professionals. I do marketing for doctors. And you'll be shocked that doctors also need marketing. 10 years ago, they would put up a signage and somebody just walks into the clinic. But today, they have to communicate their value. They have to be on Instagram. They have to be on LinkedIn. They have to be on Facebook. And patients are so smart these days that even for all of us, before I go to a doctor, I just rush to the internet and say, general practitioner near me. And the one with more reviews. The one with more reviews, then I can go to that one. So it means that the doctor is constantly communicating their value. Now, let's zoom it down to LinkedIn. Personal branding, communicating your value in LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's no longer about job searching anymore. You know, you can connect with Millycent. You know, I can connect with you. I can connect with the CEO of Eskom. You know, I can connect with a lot of people. It's just like what those opportunities that were elusive and hard to reach 10 years ago, I can actually reach them because I've got access to this platform. But it means that I don't just have to start my LinkedIn page and then I put my picture there and then I say, I'm good with problem solving. To be different, I really have to take care of it. So I want to ask you, Melina, how has LinkedIn helped you, especially in positioning yourself?
Okay, so maybe we can start from the fact that I was a very shy professional. That when I finished my articles, I passed board 1. And in those days, after passing board 1, you are sure guaranteed a position and a like promotion from your articles training. When I passed board 1, I was actually made to be I was almost made to be an audit clerk
Yeah.
because they could not believe that I can go and sit in the boardroom. I was shy.
Yeah.
I was not showing that I know these things. So, but from that, I had to work myself out to say, in this profession, yes, you are introvert and you are from the village. Maybe you have an accent. You have English problems. Face it, in this profession, people who become successful is the people who talk, who communicate in the meetings, who actually show, yes, I might have passed. My university says I know what I'm doing, but I'm not showing it the other side. So it means you need to get there and say, what is it that I know that I can actually show to the world? Your world means your employer. Your world means people around you. People don't know that you know something, right? But then it means you need to challenge yourself. So I went into a very challenge. I changed myself that every time they say we want someone to pray at church, I was raising my hand. I found places where I could actually, it's safe. When at home, like literally these are things I've done. When at home there was a party for a 2-year-old and they want someone to talk, I was the one talking. They know at home now. Even at the other time in my child's school, they needed SGB voting. I didn't want to be in the SGB, but I voted myself so that I can go talk and motivate myself, motivate why I want to be an SGB and stand in front of people. It was an intentional exercise. So I want to challenge professionals that you need to, if you know you are shy, you are an introvert, you don't feel like in LinkedIn. Now we are on social media. Unfortunately,
yes.
We are, or fortunately, we are. So then it means you need to challenge yourself. And most of the people, they tell me, but I don't want people to know me, like to know my life. And then I say, go to my LinkedIn. After that, do you know my life? You don't know how many children I have. You don't know, like you wouldn't know the little details. You don't know whether I'm hospitalized or not. So it's not like you go to the LinkedIn and tell people about your life. So those are excuses. We need to move from the excuses to saying, but this is what is the tool that will help me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is you being a strategic professional. Most of us are not strategic. We always think of strategy as the company's thing, but you want to be strategic, that you need to understand that this tool will help me in terms of I'm going to be seen. I'm going to be a thought leader. What professional am I creating? Am I creating a thought leader? Am I creating a specialist? Can the world knows that you are a specialist, you are a thought leader if you are not there? So, coming back to your answer, I think I was very passionate because it is indeed a tool that really enhanced and helped me to come out of the shell. And I call it to give myself permission as well. Maybe at work, they won't give me permission to have a podcast, right? But the tool, LinkedIn and other tools helps me. And the world can see. So that is actually that value add. The value add of LinkedIn is to at least give yourself permission. As a professional, you studied so hard that you must hide. I think we're especially in the accounting space, we study. Imagine study so long for you to hide. So the first thing, at least you give yourself permission to give yourself opinions, especially position yourself with what you know. Become a thought leader. Like someone can go to LinkedIn and relate to say this person is knowledgeable. So you are showing your knowledge out there. And then also to specialize, you actually can be now niched to say Millycent is about entrepreneurship. Millycent is about, then when jobs comes, you don't even have to apply. Most of the time, I don't apply for my jobs. You even get a challenge of saying, which job should I choose? I don't want to leave my current employer. Wait. So you don't have those issues. Then you are standing out from the rest. And you are also managing your brand. You don't need to trust your brand to somebody. So you also manage your own brand. Like that is the value of what these tools are giving us. In the past, we'll have to go to a PR specialist, but now you can actually manage your brand and communicate your value. It's a very quick way to communicate your value. And it really brings a lot of people to your inbox.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
who relate. You know,
Uh-huh.
every day you get that message that I actually was so down, but now I looked at your profile. Sometimes I shy away to put my designation. I feel like my name is long, but the LinkedIn tells me, "But no, put these things because it inspires someone." You know, so that inspiration and that whole someone can look up to you. I think it's more impact than anything else in the world. When someone can say, I can relate to this lady, you know? Yeah. So
That's wonderful. And you said thought leadership, you know, which I believe it's the biggest product in 2024 in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Being able to share your thoughts on a platform. I mean, even if you are a student, I think you can use LinkedIn to share your thoughts.
Yes, yeah.
Because there's this nice notification. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. It comes in every Sunday that you have appeared in how many searches.
Yes,
So it means that people are searching.
Yeah.
So the question you should be asking yourself is, am I giving people what they are searching for? Because in every one of us, LinkedIn is going to give us a notification. You've appeared in 200 searches. Yeah. So it means that people are constantly searching for the next person they can give an opportunity. So are you positioning yourself to be that person that they are searching for? So for you, Mr. Kada, you recently posted a post on your graduation. Just before I get into the question, you've recently posted about your graduation on LinkedIn, and it inspired a lot of people. And the post even, I think it went viral. So I want us to tell, like, how did that moment feel? Because I think maybe for you, maybe you were just innocently saying, "Hey guys, I've got my qualification and I'm happy and I want to inspire you." But coming from LinkedIn and how big the post became, and just like comments like, "You know what, I've been so depressed about my qualification. You're actually giving me that motivation." How was it for you, and you know that influence that you put out?
Okay, yeah. So when I got my results, I got them on a Monday morning. When I opened my emails, I got them on a Monday morning, and then I posted. But I didn't post without the graduation photos, and people commented. Then when I graduated, I took those professional photos at the graduation, and I said to myself, that post never got far. Yeah, people commented on it. So I said, I think visual is very important.
True.
When people see something, they make it. The job you can say without a photo. But I think because it's a qualification, you can say a photo. So I'll go back to what I spoke on the previous. I said when I get in class, I get the certificate and I show the students that this is what you're aiming for. It's when that light bulb lit and said, but if I do this to students, why can't I do it? And people must, on LinkedIn, my audience must see me physically going for a graduation, wearing the gown itself. Because those things, I think when we wear the gown, I think we don't think about them. There is an ambience about that gown. And if you go to university, like Northwest University, you see I was wearing yellow. That's master's. Red is PhD. Okay. And I think gray is a bachelor's. Okay. So there is something about them when you wear them, what you feel in that moment when you wear them. And then I said, okay, let me post these photos. And also let me write it in such a way that I'm thanking everybody else who sometimes don't even know. And then I was very deliberate in also people that I tagged in. I tagged in a lot of people that knew about my journey. Okay. And at some point had spoken them about giving up. That, oh, you know what, I'm feeling that I should give up. So I tagged that. That was also my strategy as well, to say, let me tag people that either were together on the journey or I had at some point. And that's what made it now impactful, because of who I tagged and also the message that I posted there. So I did not post that I got it, but I said, thank you for those that supported, because I know that gratitude is one of the biggest things you can do in life. Okay, being grateful to say others have lifted you to be where you are. So it was a gratitude to say there was a lot of people that were, and also realizing that you said we are 1%. Yeah, so realizing that, you know what, in the profession, I'm well known. There's a lot of people who look up to me. There's a lot of people who come to me for advice, okay? Personal and professional. So let me also share this news with them. I don't want them to hear it from somewhere else, but to hear it from you. And that's how it went viral. So that was my thought process of that process, was to say, let me show gratitude to my audience. Yes. And that's why you see some of the comments I saw in there, somebody says, I want to supervise your PhD. Okay. There's comments in there. There's comments there. Let's publish articles together, academic articles together. Yeah. I've gotten that audience. I've gotten an audience where somebody says, Kada, we need to get you into an audience. I want you to speak about your journey. Because you see, it's this branding thing you're saying. People know me that behind me, there's an educationalist. I'm a person who loves learning and teaching. So say, he's done it. I think his journey would be very important for us to share. Because they realize that it's not about the qualification itself, but it's about the journey itself. Yes, the journey itself. Yeah. So that's where. So it's part of what we're saying, promoting yourself. But promoting yourself in the spaces that people are going to relate to you. Yes. Okay. If I'd said I won a race, I ran 10 kilometers, people would have not let it because they don't see me as a runner. But because they see me, I post a lot of things on leadership. They see I post a lot of things on education. Okay. They see I post a lot of things. Like right now, do you know the posts that are coming on it's about PhDs. On whenever I open LinkedIn, there's something about a PhD. How to do your PhD, how to research your PhD, how to manage your PhD. It's just coming. It's just coming. So that was my thought process when I do that. Number one, visualization. Number two, let me say thank you. Even if I don't tag you, but you know who you are, where you're sitting.
True.
And then number three, let me also reach out to people that knew about the journey or know me in a certain space and say, he's done it as well. So we could also do it as well. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And also last week, just after the session, you told us that you almost all of your speaking engagements you get through LinkedIn.
Yes, yeah.
It means that now you are a thought leader, you are an authority, you are a brand.
Yes.
So maybe what are for somebody who is a bit timid about LinkedIn, they just use it to search for jobs, but there's just so much more they can do. Based on your own experience, what advice can you give them, to say that, just use this platform? Yeah.
I think what Millycent has spoken about is, number one, come out of your shell.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just tell you my journey. I also went to LinkedIn looking for a job. And I realized, no, there's more to LinkedIn. So what I did is, I did the things that you have to do. So you optimize it, you use very nice language, you put your qualifications, you put a nice photo there so that it looks nice because, first of all, people are visual. And then the second thing I said, okay, let me choose Harvard Business Review. Any article by Harvard Business Review, I'll repost it. Let me choose other people who are in leadership, strategy, entrepreneurship, because I just said, let me be a bit broad here.
Yeah.
Let me connect with them. Whenever they post something, I repost it. Okay? And that reposting is what always helps. I mean, you've posted, I repost.
Yeah, true.
Because what I've realized with LinkedIn is that when you connect with people, when you repost, even somebody is looking to recruit or something like that, even if you don't know them, there's something that happens with the way LinkedIn is built.
Yeah.
Okay? Your circle becomes bigger. Your circle becomes bigger. So one of the things I said, apart from promoting myself, I'm also going to promote others because others are going to promote me as well. So reposting is very important. Then the third thing that I started to do also is commenting.
Yeah.
And being involved in big debates. I don't know, now it's died down, but there used to be debates about chartered accountants, about something somebody had written, about mathematics in South Africa. What a politician. So I was choosing anything that was in accounting, and that was either South Africa or international. I would be in the debate, typing and commenting. And then you see somebody who say, oh, but what you're saying is different. What you're talking about is different. You're saying something different. Okay? And then you see people start connecting to you because they've seen your comments and how you're commenting on that issue. They've seen your comments and how you're commenting that issue. The one thing that I haven't done, which I wanted to do, was to be publishing every Monday, to be publishing something. I started to publish, then I stopped. But it's something that I want to do now. Now that the pressure of, I want every Monday to just write something short, tag a few people, and just let it grow as well, and see where it grows. Because all these things we're sharing on the podcast, you could make them into short articles, even short videos as well.
A short video.
Yes, yeah. So I haven't done, but I thought, no, you know what? You need to speak to people constantly. You need to speak to people constantly, and then so those are the things that you could do as well. And the debates, to be honest with you, are where you get a lot of people to know that you've got a voice, and this is what you speak to a voice. There was one time a debate that we had on LinkedIn. So, you know Raf Mpita, the CEO of MTN. Yeah. He was a CFO before. Yeah. He's an engineer by background. Okay, so somebody wrote on LinkedIn to say, is a CFO for accountants or just requires somebody with a business acumen? Okay, and I took a different say. I said, no, it's not a role that is meant for accountants. It could be anybody else, because it was rough when he was appointed CFO, and there were some CAs who were saying, why did you appoint a person who's not an accountant as a CFO? And we're arguing that, no, this guy doesn't need to know accounting standards or whatever. No. The CFO role is a strategic role. Yeah. Yes.
The accountants were offended.
Yes, they were offended. But that debate got a lot of traction to a point that's how even I grew my fellowship, because they were saying, but this guy is an accountant, he works for a professional body, and why is he not? But you know my thinking, I was also thinking that an accountant could be a COO, an accountant could be a CEO, an accountant could be a CHRO.
And those things are specialized as well.
Yeah, they're specialized as well, but you could find yourself. I mean, there are people who are in learning and development, and yet they trained as accountants. So I was thinking to say, when you speak to things and say these are reserved for accountants, I was thinking that you're wrong, because you might find that you as a professional might find yourself in a space that is not accounting. And I was also looking at myself. I was in business development. I was a salesperson. If they had said we don't need accountants in sales, I would have not been where I am. Yes, and also my job gave me that platform as well. So I was saying, no, it doesn't. Because, I mean, there was a survey that was done. 2/3 of the roles of a CFO don't go to people who are traditional accountants. So that means 37% are traditional accountants. The others not.
I think and it quite nicely. The commenting part, the top LinkedIn creators recommended. Also, we do LinkedIn profiling in my organization. So we always advise our clients just to get into the conversation, because that's where the miracle is. And for me, 100% of my clients I get on LinkedIn. 100% of my clients I get on LinkedIn. So it's a very, very powerful tool, whether you're looking into building a professional career, or you're looking into a business, or you just want to communicate your value. LinkedIn is so important. So we have reached the final leg of the conversation. Okay. And I would like to know maybe your final closing statements. But before that, I know Millycent never advertises these services, but I'm going to advertise on your behalf. Millycent is a career development coach. So Millycent is a career development coach. She has worked the journey. She has been a lecturer before. And because she has been a lecturer, she knows the technicalities of teaching, not just teaching books, but also teaching you in the inside,
Yes,
teaching the person inside. So if you want a career boost, if you want somebody to say, you know what, I want to move from one point to the other, Millycent is available for one-on-one consultations. I know you didn't like that.
And you will be surprised that I actually coach a lot of professionals on a day-to-day basis. In my week, I have 2 or 3 professionals I'm coaching. So that's where even the coaching side of me came, because people around me, whenever they want to advise, like even senior people, they come to me. So then I realized there's a calling here. So that's when I went in and learned about neuroscience and all the coaching tools. So I really love that part. But sometimes I feel it's heavy because when you coach, you have to get to the person.
Yes.
That's why I went and studied neuroscience. So I don't really advertise it because I'm like, my clients finds me. And they definitely do. But it's nice to advertise and market. Thank you.
Thank you. And your closing statements?
My closing statement is the fact that as a professional, you have a voice and that we have to hear that voice, shy as you are, reserved as you are, but you need to have a voice and leave a professional footprint. And it's not reserved for Millycent and Mr. Kada, is for everyone. Because you were here, you lived, you breathed the professional space. Someone in the villages, in the township is crying for that position.
Yes, yeah.
And then you are taking it for granted. It's really also inspiring the future generation. You don't know how much you are doing to inspire the future generation. And even if you are a graduate, most of my students from TUT, I taught these things, I make them do these things, and they're winning awards. I have a student from TUT who won the Internal Auditor of the Year. And because he embraced these things. So it's really, even jobs, you find jobs easy. So you don't have to shy away and be saying it's for the special ones. We are not special. People who know me personally know that I'm not special. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And your closing statement?
Yes, I think what you've spoken about coaching, I went through a leadership program last year and I realized the benefit of coaching. I was one person who never thought about coaching, and I picked it up because it did wonders for me for the 6 months that I was in that program as well. So one of the things we don't preach a lot about is that any career profession, get a coach. Okay? A coach is very important because they see what you don't see.
True.
And what you don't see is what elevates you to the 1%. If you want to get into that 1%. And then the second thing is break out of our shells. As accountants, let's break out of our shells. Okay? This thing of, there's always people are saying accountants are boring. We are not boring. Okay? We just need to come out and show our character and our humanity. As you said, our story. We just need to tell more of our stories as accountants. And then the world is, as you said, it's on LinkedIn. True. The world is open now with social media. You never know where it might take you. But also be open to new experiences and journeys as well. I will go back what I said. Try and get new experiences, experience new cultures as well. Because sometimes that's where you go and break your shell. Yeah, because if you're among people that you've grown up, you're similar. Sometimes you don't. But if you go in a space where you have to break out of your shell and express yourself, that becomes important. And I think we need to do that for the youth that are coming into this profession, to make them break out of your shell and just be yourself. You're an individual. There's nobody who is created like you. There's nobody who's going to be created like you once you're gone. So leave a footprint on earth.
Thank you. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and a special thank you to Mr. Kada. A special thank you to Millycent for being a guest host.
Am I not the one who's supposed to say thank you for being our guest host?
No, you'll give me one sati, then I'll go.
I did appreciate to be on the side of being the answering person.
Yes.
It's amazing. Asking questions can be so difficult. But I just want to remind our listeners that indeed our days are numbered. May we find wisdom to have understanding in everything we do. That's why numbers don't lie.
Okay.
Yes, numbers don't lie. Proudly sponsored to you by Wansati Bread.
Thank you.
Thank you.